Hello, hello. I am Emmanuelle Chriqui. Some of you may know that I'm a longtime EMA board member. I'm so excited to be here today hosting an EMA Talks. Now, what is an EMA Talks? EMA Talks is a conversation program at the intersection of arts and sciences where entertainers and creatives, like myself, chat with incredible experts in all sorts of topics dedicated to saving Mother Earth. In this new series of EMA Talks, we're focused on something that I hold near and dear to my heart. We are talking fashion. Specifically, winners of the Global Change Awards, honoring innovation in fashion and sustainability. I am so excited to be talking to two of my guests today, Benoît Illy and Tawfiq Nasr. They have a company called Fairbrics. I will tell you just a little bit about their amazing company, and then we'll get into this interview. The Fairbrics team is a diverse and collaborative group transforming the conventional way of producing fibers. In 2019, two PhDs, a material scientist, Benoît, and a chemist, Tawfiq, came together with an optimistic idea that through molecular chemistry, they could change the future of fashion. Fairbrics was born with a vision to fight climate change by developing circular manufacturing process, incorporating waste CO2 as feedstock reduces the reliance on expensive fossil fuels. They are now a talented team of scientists, engineers, and business-minded people. Bon, bravo d'abord. Bravo et bienvenue. Benoît et Tawfiq, je suis vraiment excitée de discuter avec vous, mais on va le faire en anglais. Hello, how are you?
We are very well. Thank you very much for the invitation. We are so happy to be with you today.
Oh, thank you. Same here.
Very, very, very happy. Thank you for the opportunity to exchange about our project.
Oh yeah, no, I'm so excited, guys. It's really mind-bending what you have come up with. So first of all, just, I did a little intro about your company, but is there anything that you want to add to really explain what it is that you guys do?
Benoît, you can.
So I will start. I will let Tawfiq finish. So basically, we have developed a new method to convert CO2 into polyester. So the problem we are trying to solve are the CO2 emission of the fashion industry. Today, it's huge. It's between 4 and 10% of the global emission. And moreover, it's a fast-growing industry. So if nothing is done, it could consume up to 25% of the carbon budget to meet the Paris Agreement. And so we have developed a new technique that turns the problem into a solution. Instead of emitting CO2, we are using it as a building block to create new fabrics. So it's based on the technology that Tawfiq has developed.
Yeah, so basically the idea came during my studies in the US and in Paris, where I did my PhD. And basically during the last few years, I worked on new ways to transform carbon dioxide into a valuable product for different kind of industry. And basically, there's a lot of different technology that can be used in the fashion industry to make synthetic fibers. And so basically, it's a mix between chemistry, a piece of magic, and a lot of work. And now we are happy to be able to produce. It's a big adventure.
I mean, it's incredible. It really does sound like magic, by the way. Like it really it's unbelievable. Like when I read what it is that you guys do, I was like, wait, how? That's amazing. So yes, I agree. It sounds like magic. Now
Yeah.
tell me, how did both of you meet? How did you come together?
We met through an entrepreneurship program called Entrepreneur First. It was in 2019. So before the event, we had a drink together, and Tawfiq talked about the idea. At the beginning, I wasn't believing it was possible. But after a few days, I was completely convinced by this idea because it's like really a game changer. And we started from there.
Incredible. Incredible. So, you know, as a fashion lover, I'm always searching for sustainable lines because I think it's very important. And I think if we have any kind of voice, it's to try and, you know, promote that. I'm curious, was fashion a passion of yours?
Yes, kind of. My wife is a designer, so basically I'm kind of in the fashion industry too. But basically the idea came also with the work of my wife because I'm a chemist, of course. So what I'm doing is very applied science, but I'm also influenced by all the people that are around me, and most particularly my wife. And one day we just all together, and I just made the connection, and then we started like that. But yeah, the fashion is very important in my life, and so I'm more than happy to be able to contribute to this industry
Oh, that's
with
so
this
amazing.
technology.
And has she used your actual materials that you've made?
Not yet. So she working a lot with leather, but at some point she will have to change.
That's so cool, man. Wow. Okay. And how, I mean, I guess this is what everybody is going to be wondering, is that how did you even think to look into greenhouse gases to create polyester?
Benoît, if you want to.
Basically, at the beginning, we see that there was a big need in the fashion industry, and polyester came rapidly as a material because it's the most used, that's the most problematic. It's about 40% of the emission of the whole industry come from polyester. And it sounds like magic, but polyester is like, it's made of CO2. It's come from the, like it's a very old vegetables and animals that have been turned to petroleum and then turned into polyester. But at the very beginning, it was from CO2. So in a sense, we are just reproducing what nature does. We are using CO2 as a building block to create.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So just to make the comparison, basically now, like if you're considering a t-shirt, for example, made from polyester, before this t-shirt, there is yarns of polyester, which can form a polymer. And this polymer can form from two chemicals. And those two chemicals are made from petroleum. So what we're changing is just that instead of using petroleum as a starting material for the manufacturing of t-shirt, we're replacing it by carbon dioxide. So instead of emitting it, we're using it as a building block, and we consume carbon dioxide from the atmosphere or from different industries.
It's incredible. And do you think, like, using that sort of same equation, do you think that there's going to be other materials that you can make, like other than polyester, using that same method?
Yeah, basically basically we can make most of the synthetic materials because all the synthetic materials come from chemicals, and we're chemists, so we know how to manufacture it. But the thing is, most of the chemicals cannot be made just from carbon dioxide. So for polyester, we can. put a lot of carbon dioxide, but maybe in other kind of materials such as nylon, stuff like that, it will be a mix between carbon dioxide and other kind of waste of different industries, stuff like that. But yeah, it's basically the idea of Fairbric. We're starting with the polyester material, but the idea is not to just make the polyester and then say that's it. We want to expand it and to change all the
right, and to use all the waste from different industries, which is incredible. Like that's part of the magic. And tell me, how did you know about the Global Change Award and what motivated you to enter?
So it's there are very few opportunities like that in the fashion industry. It's really because when we started, nobody was believing that it was possible, and we applied to a lot of competition, and that's really the one that put into ideas that are revolutionary. So for us, it was really like it was really making sense to apply to this competition because they are not trying to find incremental amélioration. They really are trying to find game changers.
Yes. And you guys are definitely changing the game. It's so impressive. And how has, how's your life changed and the company and all the things since winning that?
Wow, a lot of change. Yeah, a lot. So basically, when we knew that we win the Global Change Award, we were two, Benoît and I. Then we had the opportunity to get Ali on board, then to create our own labs. So we created the first one in June. Now we have the second one, and we're currently building up the third one. And the team has increased, so now we are 11 in the team, and we're still growing. So basically a lot of stuff. We're working on different stuff like the IP, new technologies, making partnership with brands, but also creating our first yarns. So there's a lot of stuff that changed.
Wow. And is it based in Paris? Your 3 locations? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically in south, in Versailles, close to Versailles.
Okay. I've been there. Amazing.
Yeah, the castle is very famous.
Oh yes, it is indeed. And have you guys been able to meet any of the other winners from the Global Change Award and maybe talk collaboration or anything?
It feels like we know them because we have for 1 year we had weekly Zoom meetings, but actually we haven't never met them in real. That was not the best year to win the challenge because you are supposed to travel the world, and we spent our time in our in our office. But basically, this month we are going to have talks with 3 past winners, and there is a chance that we can make collaboration because a lot of the innovation are complementary. So it's possible to have a new product together.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. Very exciting. And, just like, we're talking fashion and sustainability, and obviously we know that there's a massive gap in fashion that's starting to get better. There's an awareness and people are becoming more conscious. What do you see as fashion's role in sustainability?
I think that they have to lead those kind of concern for environment, and I think that they're starting to do it, like H&M, but also in France we had the Fashion Pact. So I think that they're taking it seriously, and they're starting to look carefully about new innovation that can solve their carbon footprint instead decreasing it. And I think they have to lead it because it's unfortunately one of the most polluting industry, but also one of the biggest industry, and it's still growing with a lot of different parts in the world that starting to buy like European and Americans. So at some point, it will not be possible from environmental point of view to continue the growth without changing anything.
Right.
So I think that they have to show the way to transform this industry, and other than industry like energy industry, stuff like that.
Right. And can you tell me, sorry, you mentioned fashion impact in France?
Fashion impact, yeah.
Yeah, what is that exactly?
So basically, it's like a pact where different French brands just decide to communicate together in order to be able to create a new way for decreasing carbon dioxide of the fashion industry. So the most well-known is Kering, where there's a lot of different luxury brands, stuff like that. So they create this fashion pact, and there is a lot of different brands from luxury or not, sports, etc. And basically, they're just trying to think about how to decrease the carbon footprint of this industry and how to get to the target of the 2 degree. But it's the beginning, so it was last year, I think. And since then, they're having meetings and talking about how to do, etc. And by doing so, they communicate a lot. So basically, a lot of different startup and enterprise starting to look at it because they saw that there is a need from this industry. They don't have all the solution, and maybe the solution can come from innovation that startup do. So our technology, for example, but there is a lot of different other technology that can help, like for nylon recycling or polyester depolymerization, microplastic, a lot of different innovation that can help them.
Wow. So it is. So it feels more hopeful than ever before.
Yeah, but I think it's the time to take it in consideration, because if we're not working on it now, I think that it will be too late. And the growth is still continuing, and there is no way that we just can continue to grow without considering that we have an effect on the environment. And so, yeah, I think the focus should be done on the how to change and decrease the carbon footprint of the fashion industry, and also other industry such as energy industry, transportation, stuff like that.
Right, all of them. And as I think that it's just such a good reminder in this conversation is that, what advice would you give, for example, just for a consumer? I mean, like, we all succumb to fast fashion, right? It's easy. It's like, oh, it's on sale. Oh, it's cheap. I'm gonna buy 5 of these. I love this T-shirt. But what's your advice? What is something that we could do, like really do as an effort, at least to start? Obviously, we're not all gonna like stop everything tomorrow, but what can we do to go in the right direction?
So, for my opinion, the best advice would be buy less but buy better. Like, the impact is here. Basically, you can buy a lot of different T-shirts that will be cheap and very polluting, but instead of doing so and changing each month or each week, just buy 1 or 2. Maybe it will be much expensive, but you know that those T-shirts have lower impact, and that's it. Like, it will be my advice, and then try to recycle as much as possible too. But yeah.
Right, recycling, of course. And like, yeah, I love that. I think that it's a really great reminder. Less is more across the board. What invention or product or process, okay, do you wish already existed for sustainable fashion? It's a two-part question. That's the first part. The second part is, in what advancements in sustainability excite you?
I mean, right now we are so much focused on Fairbrics, so we really believe that it's the game changer for the fashion industry. And what could change the game is carbon capture, because today it's quite expensive to capture carbon, but there is a good chance that it's become very cheap, and CO2 could change from a waste to a raw material that we could use to create new fashion or new consumer goods.
Wow, yeah. Tawfiq, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I agree with Benoît. I think that basically when we're looking at the fashion industry, we saw that like 10 years ago, they're starting to look at the supply chain in order to optimize it as much as they can to decrease their carbon footprint, etc. But at some point, all the supply chain is optimized, and they're still manufacturing like synthetic fabric, like we did it like 50 years ago, 100 years ago. And at some point, we will not be able to do so for a long time. So I think that all the innovation that starting to look at how to manufacture new, like the same materials or new materials in a greener way, are good for this industry. And for our case, for example, as said Benoît before, I think that carbon capture will help us a lot to do so, because if we can capture directly the carbon from industrial fume with like very cheap, etc., a lot of different industry will we will gonna to take it to just decrease their carbon footprint, and they will play the game. If it's too costly, it can be quite tough, but there is a lot of advance that has been made those last years, and a lot of pilot has been started, so we're very, very, very confident that it will be done.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds that way. Would you say, you guys, that for, new companies, new businesses, that they're that they should be focusing, I mean, not just on like what you guys are doing, but just say like I wanted to open, I'm not going to, but let's just say I wanted to open, a clothing store or whatever, that the trend and the thing that's like of the utmost importance is to really start to celebrate those sustainable brands, like make that a part of your ethos. Like, as new companies, as the younger generation is coming up, do you think that that's messaging that should be put out there, that we should continue put it out there? Does that make sense?
I think so. I think that the young generation is already aware about it. Like when we're talking with a lot of people around us, we all know that our world is completely different than the world that before the industrialization. So we know that we're facing a lot of different issues due to the climate change, and we need to do something. So I think that we have to continue to educate people, but now I think that most of the people are aware about it, but now is the work has to be done from brands to contribute more and propose much more like products for people with a story, with real data, not just greenwashing, for example, and saying, yeah, we are carbon negative without saying how they can be exactly. Right. So there's, I think that the role of the brand and the communication that they have should be much more offensive and present data, report, and they're starting to do so. So basically, there is a lot of different brands that just get out some report where they say what they did for the last year for sustainability, etc. And I think it's a good way for us to a greener world. Yeah.
For sure. And to probably, and for the other brands to follow suit and be probably far more transparent about it, So we as the consumers can make the decision of we want to support that, not that, right?
Yeah, lots of people want to to do better, but they don't know how to do it. So I think one of the role of the brand is to inform the customer so they can make choices that are aligned with their values.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. You know, I'm asking you guys this because, you know, being, you know, working with the Environmental Media Association over the years, over the last, I would say like 8 years specifically, you know, really seeing a change, even having it be important as celebrities when we go on the red carpet, using it as an opportunity to be like, look, I'm wearing something that's sustainable, you know, this is important. I want to get this messaging out there. The reason I'm talking to you guys about it is because I find that there's still a laziness. Like, I have tons of friends that know. I still have friends that buy water bottles at home. You know what I mean? So there is like, I agree with you, Tawfiq. Like, you're right. As a generation, we are aware, but then it's like, how do we push it further into action? That's what I struggle with. Seeing that, you know?
Yeah, but you're completely right, and I think that it's our role, like you, to just educate your friends, me to educate the people around me, etc., etc., just to give them some information, because when you focus about sustainability, you can see all the small change that you can do that can have a huge impact. For example, the use of plastic bottles that can be, of course, you can avoid to use it when it's for house, for example. But for some people, it's easy for them, and that just maybe they just think about it, like the pollution that they're gonna to end with the use of this plastic bottle. But maybe that just by educate them, by telling them that you can use a glass bottle, and glass bottle can be recycled, and you can use it much more time, and it's the same thing. Or the water that like, I think that the change has to be made in our environment first, and then it's like
And it's like a ripple effect.
it will spread. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then it will spread the world, like
yeah. And
but
like,
it's the same choice. Sorry, it's the same. For example, when we're passing two different t-shirts, there is a lot of people that prefer to buy the cheapest one.
Yeah, it's like we're educated that way.
Yeah, exactly. So they're saying, yeah, it's a white t-shirt. There is a white t-shirt, but the price is twice. So why are you gonna to buy a white t-shirt twice the price? And but maybe just by telling them that, okay, you're gonna to pay twice the price, but the carbon footprint will be much lower, or it helps poor people to work in good conditions, stuff like that. Maybe just by putting a real story, not just a greenwashing or something like that, but a real story behind, people will buy
that
will not buy the cheapest one.
Right. I think that you're right. I think it is. I think it's a lot about narrative. It's a lot about getting the story out there and celebrating that. Right.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys, I mean, hats off. I want to let you, if there's anything you want to speak about, if there's anything you want to mention, anything more, please feel free. I'm fascinated to talk to you guys about all this.
I think it's the time is very gloomy, and with the COVID or with the changing climate, I think there is a lot of opportunities in front of us. There is a lot of scientific solutions are coming, and I think we will have good surprises coming to the market very soon. And hopefully, Fairbrics, you will be able to buy Fairbrics in the coming years.
Oh my God, I can't wait to wear something and be like, let me tell you about this. That would be amazing. I know, hopefully during this pandemic, there's been a lot of time to get quiet, and there's been a lot of time to get centered, that hopefully all the brilliant minds like yourselves have been like getting busy, and then all these incredible ideas will be coming in the next year or two. It's going to be like the floodgates open, hopefully.
Yeah, people are focusing more on long term now, on long term solution, because they realize that we need to think about also about the climate.
Yeah, we have to. It's never been made abundantly, it's never been made more clear. It was like this pandemic showed us exactly what we're doing and how we're killing our planet. Like, we really saw it. It wasn't just an idea. It wasn't somebody saying something. We really saw it. It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I cannot thank you enough for the work that you're doing, for joining me here on EMA Talks. And who knows, maybe one of these years when everything opens up, you'll come and visit us in Los Angeles, and you'll come join our award show. That would be awesome.
Hope so.
That would be well, thank you, and stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you very much, Emmanuelle.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, same here. Merci. À très vite, j'espère.
Merci. Au revoir.
À très vite. Merci. Au revoir.